Let me quickly talk about the agenda for today's session. We will have an overview of Desktop Central, and we will talk about the different architecture of Desktop Central and how we can equip a digital workforce and the workforce which is coming back to office. And we see some policies which help us to do the endpoint lockdown, and we can deploy some policies as a collection. At last, we will talk about the integration benefits of Service Desk Plus, and we will wind up with the QA session. So these are the typical challenges an IT admin face in this pandemic as well as the current new normal. So previously, the machines are work from office. So that means it will access to all the in-house applications, and there is no need for any additional authentication. You can plan your patching activities without any issues. Now, most of the workforce are working from home. There might be some chances to get compromised because of an unauthorized access, or you might having some challenges to configure the BOD devices, and you need to make sure to add an additional layer of security to add your business application. So these are the challenges which we face in case if a computer is on an open internet. Let us say now the offices are opening up. We are starting coming back to office partially. So before an endpoint checks into your corporate infrastructure, you have to make sure to check the compliance, and you want to quarantine your machine which is not in the compliance, and you want to define the patching policies for the hybrid workforce. That means still you have the users on working from home. So all these challenges can be easily addressed with the help of Desktop Central. So let me quickly explain the different setups, the architecture which we can deploy the solution. So let us consider myself as a John, and I'm responsible for managing around 10,000 endpoints. So let us say if I'm deploying the Desktop Central as an on-premises solution, I will be installing the product in my head office, and I will be having a distributed structure, and I will be having some file servers just to get the patches or softwares from the master server, that is from my head office. It will be segregated over the globe. So I have a different location on Sydney, Chennai, and London, and Bogota. So I can manage all these users from my corporate office. Let us say in case if I'm going for a cloud architecture, so you can also sign up Desktop Central as a software as a service. We are responsible for managing the hardware's database and web service. You can access the web console, and from that, you can manage the endpoints over the goal. So the architecture is going to be the same. The only thing, we are responsible for managing the hardwares. So that's the only thing it's going to change in terms of the cloud architecture. So we will discuss in detail how we can deploy the solution to equip the remote workforce as well as the roaming users in a while. And now let us say most of the users are connected over the VPN as well as over the internet. So as an IT admin, I have to prepare to face both the challenges. Whenever the computers connected over the VPN, I have to deploy patch effectively with the low bandwidth available. And in case if a computer is connected over the internet, I have to make sure the computer authenticates securely and get the bandwidth. Those are the challenges which I will be having over there. I need to remotely manage the users which are connected over the VPN as well as over the public internet. So let's see how configuration helps for an IT admin to manage all these endpoints. So configuration, which is helpful for you to deploy the policies remotely and effectively in a scheduled manner. And it will also helpful for you to address the data breaches and address the vulnerabilities remotely. So what is Desktop Central? So Desktop Central is an endpoint management solution that ensures all your endpoints are secure and enable the users to use them effectively for business. Little bit of a background here. A popular research analyst called Foster defines UEM as follows: product that provides a centralized policy engine for managing and securing endpoints from a single console. In unified endpoint management, you can manage endpoints in a traditional IT management fashion that includes patch management, application management, configuration deployment, OS deployment, tools for troubleshooting, and day-to-day management activities. Similarly, endpoints can also be managed with modern management. Windows 10 is an operating system that supports modern management. It supports features like geo-tracking, geo-fencing, managing store application, profile distribution to enforce restrictions, and operating system reset and recovery. You can perform all this unified endpoint management operation from the Desktop Central console. So in Desktop Central, these are the features that you can leverage what you are using with Desktop Central as a unified endpoint management solution. So we have patch management, which takes care of operating systems and third-party patching. We have application management, asset management, configuration. In fact, if you're following our training schedules, we will talk about this in the previous sequence. You can manage other functions, including mobile device management for Android, iOS, Windows, and Chromebooks. Then we have modern management, which is for Windows and Mac machines. You can perform things like geo-tracking, complete or a corporate wipe. You can put them on a kiosk mode. You can distribute store apps and manage profile distribution. Then we have OS deployment, which will helpful for you to deploy an OS on a bare metal machine or reimage a machine which is having an OS issues. And also we have a few security add-ons. We do have our vulnerability management add-on, which will helpful for you to understand the vulnerability and mitigate the same. And we also have an add-on which helps you to define what is exactly need to be run in your infrastructure. So you have an application device level DLP, which will helpful for you to understand what are the external hard drives are connecting, who are all connecting, what are the data getting transferred, what is the source and destination management, and security features. Best uniform tool for consecutive year. We are recognized for both traditional and modern management. In unified endpoint management, you will be able to manage desktops, laptops, mobiles and tablets, point of sale devices, browsers, and servers, everything from a central console. So let us talk on how Desktop Central works, the architecture of this product. So this is a typical, so the price manage different remote locations from one console, connect each other over the internet or using a VPN or MPLS connection for the machines that are present in remote site, which are connected over the direct internet connection. You can use the gateway server is a server that bridges the agent traffic to the central security server when it's connected over the public internet. When it comes to the remote office, we have a component called distribution server, which is used to throttle bandwidth for the data traffic between the central server and the remote location. We will talk about this in detail as we go into the training. We can choose to have the machine communicate with server. We will be a mobile secure gateway too. With Desktop Central, you can manage multiple domains as well as workgroup in a single console. You can deploy configuration targeting Active Directory groups or organizational unit. So this is the architecture, how Desktop Central works on a WAN. A network connectivity to internet or limited connectivity is called a closed network. Even if you have a closed network architecture, as I told, you can still use Desktop Central to manage your endpoints. Desktop Central is also available on Azure as well as AWS Marketplace. You can spin the application along with the cloud instances. And use Desktop Central in the cloud. You can sign up for the product. So you can sign up by just link in touch with your chat team. They are happy to address all your queries. So let's see what are the components. Essential console, also an essential component. You need this to be installed on the machine that you want to manage. There is another component called the notification server. This is an interesting component. We will talk more about this once we go into the product. Then we look on the optional component. We have distribution server, which serves as a repository for patches and softwares and scripts that you have deployed in the machines on the remote office. We can create unique replication policies for each location as per the bandwidth requirement. Then we have a secure gateway server. This is useful if you are going to manage machines that are not part of the LAN. It will helpful for you to connect the machines over the public internet. I will explain you in a greater detail on the upcoming slides. And we do have a failover server. We'll talk more on it. It's also an optional component. We do have a language pack to list the web console in your preferred language. So these are the supported OS. We support three operating systems for now: Windows, Mac, as well as Linux. So please find the list of operating system on the screen, as well as Mac like Ubuntu, Red Hat, support for Oracle and X2. So if you want more details about the supported OS, you can drop an email to desktopcentral-support@manageengine.com for further information. We talk about the 90 minutes refresh policy here. So as I told earlier, it works on a client server model, install computer, so that will talk to the master server. So Desktop Central can scale small as well as a large network using our 90 minutes refresh policy. So what is 90 minutes refresh policy here? Every agent communicate with Desktop Central server once in 90 minutes. Even if you have 900 computers on 9,000 machines, the 90 minutes will be divided between them, will be given a specific time to talk to the server. The server has the intelligence to assign a time for each client to talk to the server. This is to avoid network congestion or bandwidth related issues. So the nice that the load of the server will split. These are the ports. Desktop Central. Desktop Central runs primarily on two ports, which is 027, and it's run on a TCP. These two ports are responsible for the agent server communication. And we do have also optional ports in case if you want to use the voice and video chat option in the product, you need to open the port 8443. It's under the UDP stack. You can also open the ports for taking remote control like 8443 for the remote control, and you can use the port 803 to get it open to do the file transfer. And the machines on the remote computers, remote office will get the patches from the distribution server with the help of this port 8384. So these are not default ports. You can very well change it as per your infrastructure needs. So let's see how we can deploy and onboard and how we can configure a secure gateway and failover. Now, so Desktop Central is actually a browser compatible tool, so you can download the 30. So one application has for it using PostgreSQL. In case if you are using less than 5,000 endpoints, the native PostgreSQL is responsible for managing the loads. In case if you're managing more than 5,000 endpoints, we request you to have a separate instance for database that should be an MSS. I like to manage more than 10,000 endpoints. I will be spinning up a virtual machine or a physical computer or a cloud instance with this configuration. So once it's ready, I can download and get it installed. Once the product is installed, I was able to access the console with the help of the machine name or an IP address followed by the port number. So this is one of a demo server. So this is the typical desktop architecture looks like. So which I listed out. The configuration, patching, software deployment, each steps manageable will be on a single console here. And the first and foremost thing is to install the agent. You have a separate agent tab on it. So here you can download the agent from the computer tab. So you can manually download it, or we do have an option to integrate your domain with it. So domain, what are the computer objects in your network, so that whatever the credential, the domain administrator credential which you are giving, with the help of this credential, we will share and try to push the agent in the backend. So this is one way to install an agent. Likewise, you can also install the agent with the help of it. We will be install any other deployment tools. You can also add the agent along with an OS image. So likewise, there are multiple ways to onboard the computers to the product. So agent installation is mandatory. So once you get installed the agent, you can see the agent like you see it on my computer looks. So once the agent's installed, next you can create a room which is secret. Here I have this, which is on in Germany. I would recommend to have Fusion server in that here. So let's from this location, I want to replicate the patches every day and during my non-business hours. So I can configure the window at what the patch, and also I can define I want to replicate. Let us say I have a very less bandwidth. Let us say it's a 10 Mbps bandwidth line. I don't want to use all the bandwidth for replicating the patches. So you can use data transfer rate limitation. So as of now, it will not use all the 10 Mbps for transferring the data. It only use 5 Mbps from my corporate office to the remote location to transfer the content. So it will transfer the patches and software to the remote location. So the machines under to that remote location will contribution server. Likewise, we can create multiple remote offices based on your locations. And we can also create a remote office for the roaming users. Let us say if a user is working from home, I want to manage them over the public internet. So in this case, I can choose the communication method called direct communication, so that whatever the computers which is on the public internet, they will directly connect to the desktop central server. So you can create a replication policy for this direct communication too. And we do have an IP scope option. So let us say you have a DHCP scopes for each and every location. You can very well add the IP scopes for each and every location. So let us say if an endpoint is or in home, when they are coming back to office, they will automatically reach the nearest distribution server to download the content. Likewise, we also able to understand what are the computers not part of your lease line. So this switching is an automated process. Let us say whenever the computers which is on the public internet, they will contact over the secure gateway to download the patches in the desktop central server. In case if they are coming back to office, they will reach the nearest distribution server to download the content. This switch is an automated process here. So that's how you onboard the computers and you segregate it based on the location. So you can see the summary view. I have few Windows clients, Mac as well as Linux clients. You can able to understand what is the live status. Let us say if a computer is not contacted for an n number of days, you can see a dashboard to get to know what are the last contact time. And likewise, we are able to understand what computers are turned on or what computers are turned down. So from the color code itself, you can understand what computers are turned on or turned off. So if the computers are red in color, that means the agents are installed and it's not turned on at the time, or it's not in the same network. So if the computer shows as a green in color, you can see the machines are online. So likewise, from the color code itself, you can get to know what machines are turned on, what machines are turned off in your network. And you can get an alert also in case if a computer is not reachable to the desktop central server for an n number of days. So that's how you set up the product. So I have installed the product and I have installed few agents too. Now, let me configure a secure gateway. So this typical infrastructure capable of managing the machines which is on my lease line or within my IPVPN connection. In case if I want to manage the computers over the internet, I need to configure a secure gateway here. So as you see in this architecture, my desktop central is behind the firewall. The computers which is on the open internet, still I need to manage it. So in order to get it managed, I need to advertise the desktop central server to the open internet. As you know, if I'm advertising the ports facing to the public internet, you have most chances to get it compromised. So we have added a new component. So it's a security component. We call it as a secure gateway server. You can deploy it on your DMZ zone in your edge DMZ location. You can install it on any one of a Windows computer, either it's a client or a server OS. You can install this component and you will be assigning a public IP to this desktop central server, and you will map the same public IP in the desktop central NAT settings there. So what it will do is the agent which is installed on my computer knows to communicate with the help of private IP, public IP, public FQDN, as well as machine flat name. Let us say if an employee moving from your lease line to the public internet, they are not able to contact with the help of a private IP or a machine flat name. But we are able to contact with the help of a public IP or a public FQDN. So in this case, the machines in the outer world will contact to the DMZ zone, and then it will perform the authentication and it will route it back to the desktop central server. Likewise, whenever the computer comes back to office, it will directly connect it over the private IP. So here, secure gateway act like a front-facing communication for the machines which is on the public internet. It is responsible for managing the mobile devices on the public internet as well as the computers on the public internet here. You will be asking a question. So let us say my patches are in the desktop central server, and I am having around 5,000 computers, which is on the open internet. So let us say I'm deploying a patch, 100 MB of a patch. All the 5,000 endpoints will hit to my desktop central server. It will download the patches. It's going to be 5,000 downloads. So anyway, it will choke the network bandwidth, as well as it will make the desktop central server get it hang. So in order to address this, we also introduced a new option. Let us say if a computer is on the public internet, they will contact to the vendor website directly to download the content. We have enabled this direct download option for the work from home users, and its direction logic is an automated process. Let us say if a computer is on the public internet, you are trying to push a patch or a configuration, that will directly go to the vendor website and download it. When it comes back to office, they will contact to the nearest distribution server or desktop central server to download the content. So we are able to directly download the feature packs. We support the feature pack update for both professional as well as enterprise edition here. So that's how you set up the secure gateway. So let me run through a quick video how you set up the secure gateway. So you can download the secure gateway component in the desktop central UI itself. Under the admin, you see security settings. So under the security settings, you'll be having an option to download it. Before that, you need to make sure, modify what would be the public IP or a public FQDN, which is pointing out to the secure gateway server. So once the settings done, now go to the security settings and download the secure gateway server. So it's a 150 MB of a file. So it is just a kind of a plug and play installer. So you can install it on a machine which is on a DMZ zone. So you can download it from here. So you can run the component. So it will ask for the desktop central server details. You can give the machine name or its IP address, followed by the port numbers. That should be HTTPS communication because it's coming from the outer world. So you'll be indicating the ports. So in this console, you'll be giving all the details, the server details, port details, and the username and password for the desktop central server to get it authenticate. So once it's get authenticate, it will check for all the rest of the ports are open to the open internet or not. Once the verification is done, it will automatically download the certificate from the desktop central server. So here agent, desktop central server, and secure gateway works on the same certificate. So the authentication takes place like that. So once it's get installed, you can see the status same in the web console itself. So you can see if you refresh it, you'll be able to see the activity of a desktop secure gateway server here. It will be in a full green color. So it will understand the traffic from the WAN agents, which is on the internet, as well as the machine, which is on the DMZ zone to the corporate server. So that's how you configure it. So it's pretty much easy. So you can configure a secure gateway for a new setup. So I have my secure gateway ready and I have my desktop central server ready. So let us say how I can deploy a failover server here. So since it's an enterprise application, I don't want to get an or fall into an outage. So let us say my master primary server got down. So I have to make in a way the secondary server takes up its place to serve the patches of software to the clients, even though the public internet are in the leased line. So it will be shared by the shared database. So it's an additional add-on component for the product. So you can configure either in a same subnet or a different subnet. So this will works on an active passive model. Once the active node went down, the passive node elevate it as an active and it will serve the patches and software to the client computer. So that's how typically you will configure a desktop central server in an infrastructure. So I configured everything new for my infrastructure. Let us say you are a new customer and you are going to deploy secure gateway new to your infrastructure. So in this case, if I am newly configuring the secure gateway, the machines on the public internet will not know what is the public IP of secure gateway to get communicate to the desktop central server. So for this case, we have given an option to run a script on the end user's computer so that it will know the public IP or a public FQDN and contact to the desktop central server to get it managed. Because without a secure gateway, we cannot manage the machines which is on a public internet. So I will quickly run through a video for the same. So if you want to get to know this URL, you can very well get in touch with our chat team. So you can download the configured DC agent server communication back. You can download it from here. So this back will be having the details of what need to be updated on the end user's computer. So here I'm going to update the public FQDN for the desktop central agent. Just open the back file and you can update it. So as you see, the machines or my agent is offline now because it's contacting to my private FQDN. So now I'm modifying the script and I'm giving the public FQDN here. That is nothing but demo.desktop central server. So this is the FQDN will point out to my secure gateway server. So once the script is ready, now you need to run it on each and every computer to get to know what is the new contact details for the machines which is on the public internet. So this will helpful for you to manage even though the computer which is on the public internet. So if you are an existing user of Desktop Central, you can make use of the script. So this will helpful for you to manage the computers over the internet. So once you run the script, it will update into the new FQDN here. As you see in the registry, you could see it is moves up to instead of that one, the old one, the new one here is demo.desktopcentralserver.com. So that's how you configure it. Okay. So that's about configuring the product. So we have discussed on how we need to install that Desktop Central on-premises server and configure the agents for managing the multiple remote locations. And we deployed a secure gateway server for managing the machines over the public internet. And then we configure the failover server for the redundancy here. So let's talk on the topic configuration here. So let us say if a user is coming back to office and you want to roll out the restrictions to get it managed. So here I'm going to block the thumb drive access as well as the external secondary device access to my computer. So I'm going to block USB to all the computers and I'm going to allow only managers to use the USB device here. And even though a manager can connect a USB device, it should be an encrypted one. So I'm going to roll out the policy with the help of Desktop Central. So you have a configuration model here. So this configuration will helpful for you to deploy the policies. So without a GPU dependency, you can roll out all these policies. So let us say if I'm working from home, I will be not going to actively contact to my Active Directory unless I connect my VPN after turning on my computer. So most of the cases, your startup scripts or startup policies will get failed. So if you have a Desktop Central agent on that computer, even though through the public internet, you can push the policies to the domain computers as well as the workgroup computers. So starting from deploying a wallpaper to deploy a legal notice, you can do it. You can deploy both user as well as computer-based configuration. As you know, in a Windows machine, in a Windows platform, if I'm deploying a configuration as a user-based, even though a user switch and logged into a different computer, all the policies will be deployed in the startup. Likewise, if I'm deploying as a computer-based one, it will be limited for that computer box alone. So we can also manage the local user management with the help of product. And we do have the policies for the Mac. Let us say if you want to run a script or modify the security settings, or if you want to add or delete a user or change the password for a Mac computer, the local users can be also done. And you can also run the scripts on the Linux computers too. So our task is to block the USB thumb drives for all the computers which is in my infrastructure. So I already have a policy for it. So this is the template which I created. So here I'm going to block all the external hard drives as well as the portable devices. You can exclude few devices. Let us say if you have some instance, let us say an external thumb drive, which is used for troubleshooting for the IT needs, you can add this instance ID here. So it will get excluded and it will use on all the computer. And also you can exclude based on a vendor. Let us say if you are using a specific make and model in your infrastructure, you can exclude that vendor-based instance IDs. Likewise, here our task is to exclude only the encrypted devices. So if an external or a secondary device is encrypted, then only it will connect it to the product, but it will also connect it to that specific managers group only here. So I have configured the policies. So I'm defining what need to be blocked, what need to be blocked here. And I'm going to deploy the policy to all the machines in my infrastructure. So here you have two options here. So the top level target should be a location or a domain. Then you can narrow it down and you can deploy to a specific computer or a group of computer or an IP range. So here I'm going to deploy to all the computers and I'm going to exclude a specific target. You can create a custom group for the targets here. So we have an option in the product to create a custom group. So here you have an option to create either a user-based group or a computer-based group. So now we are going to do a computer-based deployment. So I'm creating a computer-based group. So one of the added advantage of this custom group is, let us say you are a business unit, you are having multiple business unit having multiple domains or multiple work groups here. You can consolidate or add all the computers in a single custom group, and you can deploy the same to the product. So you can add the machines from multiple groups. So like I added, so these are two different domains. I can create a group and I can deploy the policy to these groups. Not only the configuration, you can deploy patch as well as software to the same group. Once you click deploy or deploy immediately, this configuration will get rolled out to the end user's computer. So you see two buttons here, deploy and deploy immediately. If you click deploy, Desktop Central waits with the configuration. Whenever the machine comes for its 90 minutes refresh cycle, it will distribute this configuration and get it deployed on the end user's computer. So here everything works on a pull mechanism. So the server just distribute the instruction in a form of an XML file. The agent interpret it and deploy the same on the end user's computer. In case if I use deploy immediately, at the time only the notification server comes into the picture. So the notification server runs on the port 8027. So once you click deploy immediately, it will invoke the computer on the other end, and it will ask you to, it will just tell you have a configuration, or it will ask that computer to contact immediately to the Desktop Central server for the configuration. So once you click deploy immediately, you can see the configuration rolled out in next 5 or 10 minutes. Once I click deploy or deploy immediately, you can see the configurations in the status here. What are the configuration is deployed? What are the configuration is failed? You can see the status of the configuration here, either succeeded or failed in this progress bar. You can also see the remarks of this failure too here. So I have deployed a USB configuration, but I have to make sure what machines has those USB configuration, what machines are not having it. For those, we do have a USB report. So you can get to know, or you can know what computers having the USB policies, so that it will helpful for a IT admin to understand what computers I blocked it, what computers I unblocked it. Likewise, you can also get to know the activity of the secondary devices, like what are the what time they plugged in the device, what is the type of the device, and what's this instance ID, and how much time they have used. All these details will be populated here. In case if you see this instance ID from an outsider, you can copy this and you can block the same with the help of USB policies. So this product will helpful for you deploy a policy, as well as you will be able to see the reports on what is exactly you did with the help of this product. And likewise, we do have a script repository here. You can add your own scripts, either it's a PowerShell or a VB scripts. You can upload the scripts in your script repository. So you can upload the scripts and you can deploy the same to the end user's computer. So let us say if I'm deploying a script on a Linux computer, so I can go for the Linux configuration. I can add the scripts from my repository. I can ask Desktop Central when at all it want to execute. Let us say if they want to execute once or every 90 minutes, I can do it. In case if there is any dependency file for the script, I can also add it and I can target it to whatever the group of computers I want. So let us say I want to deploy to a specific IP range, I can do it. Or else I want to deploy this script to a specific machine based, I can also roll out. So likewise, you can customize your deployment more narrow with the help of the product. And apart from that, so here we have talked more about how we roll out a single configuration. Most of the time, what you will do is, what the system admin expect is, when I install an agent, I want to perform or I want to deploy few policies automatically in a next couple of minutes. For this, we have an option called collection. So instead of one by one deploying a configuration, so you can add multiple configurations in a single window. So likewise, you can add as a single configuration and you can define the targets. So let us say whenever I install an agent, I want to deploy a specific certificate or I want to copy a specific file, I can configure, I can remove the local user account and I want to block few thumb drives. So all these policies can be rolled out in a single job. And I can target it to the end user's computer. So whatever the computers I want, I can target it and I can deploy the same. So once it's get created, this jobs, all the 5 jobs will roll out to that end user's computer in a single shot, as well as whenever the agent get installed, the jobs will get automatically rolled out. That's how you baseline what is exactly need in your infrastructure. Now we will talk about how we integrate with our ITSM tool. So Manage Engine has its own ticketing tool. We have Service Desk Plus, that's our ITSM product, which is helpful for the end users to do the ticketing, change management, incident management, problem management. It's also have a CMDB on it. So in case if you are an existing Service Desk Plus customer and you are new to Desktop Central, you can also integrate Desktop Central with Service Desk Plus. So you have a lot of integration benefits. We will see that in a quick. So here, previously, Service Desk Plus will have a separate agent. So that will collect the hardware and software details in the computer. That is just for asset collecting. Recently, we have introduced a unified agent. So that means in case if you are having Service Desk Plus and Desktop Central in your infrastructure, you will be having only one agent that will be installed on the end user's computer that will responsible for posting the asset. So here the Desktop Central agent is a pretty much quick because it will give you a live inventory of the computer because it's having a contact time of every 90 minutes. And moreover, it is going to be a two-way integration here. So for that, I need to create the API keys in Desktop Central as well as Service Desk Plus, and then I can configure the integration features. So it's going to be a two-way, as I told. You will be configuring the Desktop Service Desk Plus details in Desktop Central and Desktop Central details in Service Desk Plus. So you have the integration page here. So you have an option to create the APIs for Desktop Central, the same as for the Service Desk Plus. So once the APIs get configured, you have the integration option available, and you see what are the options I want to post on the CMDB of Service Desk Plus. So let us say if you want to do the asset data posting, you are able to post the asset data of computers as well as mobile phones, because Desktop Central can manage all the endpoints that includes mobile devices. And let us say in case if you want to uninstall or install the software from the console, that is also feasible once the integration is done. And you can take a remote control, and also the end users can raise a ticket from their computer itself, and also it will also generate an alert. Let us say once the patch deployment completed, if you want to route an email and if you want to generate it, that event as a ticket, that is also feasible here. So all these features can be set up on the integration part. So once the integration is done, so as you see, whatever the computers which is on Desktop Central, so this is the Service Desk Plus console, I can see all the assets in my Service Desk Plus console automatically. So you have the live integration, and moreover, you can also make the user assignment automatically. So it will do the user assignment automatically once integration is done. And the very important feature here is, so you could see the iframe of Desktop Central here. So that means there is no need for an IT admin to come back to Desktop Central, deploy any policies. So from your ticketing tool itself, you can access the Desktop Central iframe. So that means only one login. He can come to this UI. Let us say if he is getting a ticket to deploy a registry policy or deploy a patch. From the same ticket, he can open and he can look on what computer the ticket came for. So in that ticket, with the help of Desktop Central, you can push the policy from here itself. Likewise, in case of a troubleshooting, you can take a remote control from this same Service Desk Plus UI. So that's an added advantage of it. And apart from Service Desk Plus, we are also helpful for you to do the asset posting for the third-party ticketing tools like Jira, ServiceNow, Zendesk, and Freshdesk. That can be also integrated with Desktop Central. But for those platforms, we are only able to post the asset data to the CMDB. And I have talked about the raising the request to the help desk. So here, once you install the Desktop Central agent on it, you can raise a request to the end users. Means the end users can raise a request to the admin here. So this is the end user's computer. I have the Desktop Central agent on it. So they can send a request by attaching an image or a video for as recording what is exactly the issue. They can include the video and raise a ticket, as well as they can launch the Service Desk Plus console from their agent itself, and then they can log on their request. So single agent will helpful for you to do both the operations here. Let me quickly run through the FAQs. So if an agent is not accessed, can the computer be configured to go unmanaged and free up the license? Yes, that is possible. So let us say if a computer is not reported for a Desktop Central for a long time, you can configure a scope of management policy to tell Desktop Central, let us say if a computer is not reported for more than 90 days, delete the computer from the management console. That will free up the license too. And likewise, it will also alert you in case if a computer is not reported for, let us say if it is not reported for 15 days, you want to just get an alert, that can be also done with the help of the product. The next question, some of our computers go unmanaged quite often. Is there a way to fix it? Yes, we can do it. So let us say if I'm an administrator on a Windows computer, once the Desktop Central agent install, they will be having an option or privilege to uninstall the product or stop the service. So under the general settings, you have an option to harden that. So you can restrict the users from uninstall the agent, and you can stop the users, restrict the users to stop the services. That can be done. It is painful to redeploy all the configuration each time we hire an employee and add a computer to your network. Is there a way out? Yes, as I told, once you deploy a configuration based on an OU or a custom group, it will automatically apply the configuration on a system startup or a refresh cycle. So there is no need for you have to redeploy the configuration to every new employee once the Desktop Central get agent installed. Fourth question, I want Desktop Central to use the available resource effectively for improved performance. is we can fine tune the RAM usage on the computer. So you have an option to do the DB optimization. So this is available only for the Postgres because it's an inbuilt database. So you can increase the memory consumption of the database. It will helpful for you to give a high rendering rate for accessing the UI or serving the binaries to the end user's machine. So if you increase this memory consumption, you can see some performance speed in the product. I need to keep track on asset data even when I am away from my desk. Is this possible? Yes, we do have a mobile application which is on both iOS stores as well as an Android stores. You can download the applications and you can get it connected to the Desktop Central server. So from there, you can get to know what is exactly happening, the activity which you rolled out. And also you can take a remote control also with the help of a mobile app. And I want to restrict a technician to access only the asset data. How can I do this? So here in Desktop Central, you could see a lot of features. Generally, in an enterprise, a single administrator will not handle all these features. So with the help of the product, only the administrator can see all the features. He can foresee it. And he can define a role based upon their experience, either L1, let us say an L1 employee just for the monitoring the patches activity. He can create a role here. So everything is a role-based access. So you can create your own role, what options you want to give them, a read-write access. So everything can be customized here. Whatever the role you created, you can assign it for a L1 or a L2 technician here. So here you could see, you can also authenticate through an AD-based one. We support a two-factor as well as an SSO or a federation authentication. That's also can be feasible. And moreover, you are having multiple location. You want to have a location-based admin. You can also target, or you can also give a privilege or a specific technician to manage one particular location. So all the endpoints on that specific location will come to this particular employee management. Likewise, if you want to manage based upon a group of computers, let us say you are having a separate server team and you want to give an L3 to handle the server patches with the Linux or a Windows server patches, you can create a static group. So that particular group can be assigned to that L3 guy. So he can deploy the patches of software or he can see the inventory for that particular group of computers. So you can see the grouping, or you can map the user-based grouping or a remote office for your user management. Can the 90 minutes refresh policy be changed? Actually, 90 minutes refresh policy as of now, we can't able to change because it's designed to optimize the bandwidth and it will also increase the network performance. So that's the reason we are not able to change the 90 minutes refresh policy as of now. And how secure is my Desktop Central? So you have a security score on each and every Desktop Central instance under the security settings. So it will get increased by hardening. Let us say I'm getting a two-factor authentication or I'm putting a SAML authentication to the console. The security score will get increased. Or if I'm uploading a third-party certificate, it will get increased. Likewise, if you follow these instructions in the screen, it will increase the security of Desktop Central console here. What happens to a computer if any of the target are went down? So here, most of the cases, we cannot expect all the computer to be turned on. So here, we have an option to retry the configuration. So on every deployment, so we have an option to retry it to get the high success rate. So let us say if I'm deploying a third-party application or a third-party patch, I will not going to expect it will deploy immediately because the end user might be using the application. If you use this option, even though the first attempt it get failed, it will do a retry on the second attempt during the system startup, so that it will deploy the changes on the system startup itself and mark the configuration as a success, which will helpful for you to give a high success rate, the deployment success rate here. And Last question. If a workstation is not in domain, can we manage workstation in workgroup? Yes. We can manage multiple domains and multiple workgroups in the single console. So that's all the questions.